All right. I believe we are on chapter 8, continuing. Chapter 8 was a very long chapter. Hello, love tubers. Yes. So, where we left off, let me tell them. Let's see here real quick. The projects are coming along just fine. Thank you so much for asking. All the grants I want to complete for this month are completed except one. I will double check before submitting entry tomorrow. And right after I do that for the ones already constructed, I will see when I want to do a live for the one that I have not started on yet outside of the lingerie line. Mwah. All right. I got to do things while I remember. Where we left off was, and I hope y'all had a wonderful weekend for Memorial Day. And it's Mental Health Month, so make sure you celebrate, okay? Or donate to a cause, or if anybody's walking, do that as well. I'm planning a few things. All right. Delegation dangers before getting started. The first rule of any technology used in business is the automation applied to an efficient operation will magnify the efficiency. The second is that automation applied to an inefficient operation will magnify the inefficiency. So that's where we left off at. Have you ever given illogical assignments, handed unimportant paperwork? Hold on. Just checking. It automatically opens to the book where I left off at, but I just want it to be sure. And if I recall correctly, we went through that portion. I must have scrolled up. Here it is, the menu. Sorry about that, y'all. A world of possibilities. That's where we left off. I am not interested in picking up crumbs of compassion thrown from the table of someone who considers himself my master. I want the full menu of rights. Bishop Desmond Tutu, South Africa, cleric and activist. The next question then becomes, what should you delegate? It's a good question, but I don't want to answer it. I want to watch Family Guy. Yes, that's where we were at. The truth be told, it is a hell of a lot of work writing about not working. Ritika of Brickwood and Vinky of YM22 are more than capable of writing this section, so I'll just mention two guidelines and leave the mental hernia of detailed work to them. Golden rule number 1. Each delegated task must be both time-consuming and well-defined. If you're running around like a chicken with his head cut off, and assign your BA to do that for you. It doesn't improve the order of the universe. Golden rule number 2. On a lighter note, have some fun with it. Have someone in Bangalore or Shanghai send emails to friends as your personal concierge to set lunch dates or similar basics. Harass your boss with old phone calls and strong accents from unknown numbers. Being effective doesn't mean being serious all the time. It's fun being in control for a change. Get a bit of repression off your chest so it doesn't turn into a complex later. All right. That was just a refresher. Let's go. Getting personal and going Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes, the ultra-rich filmmaker and eccentric from The Aviator, was notorious for assigning odd tasks to his assistants. Here are a few from Donald Bartlett's Howard Hughes, his life and madness you might want to consider. After his first plane crash, Hughes confided in a friend that he believed his recovery was due to his consumption of orange juice and its healing properties. He believed that exposure to the air diluted the juice's potency, so he demanded that fresh oranges be sliced and juiced in front of him. When Hughes was partaking of the nightlife in Las Vegas, his aides were charged with approaching any girls he took a liking to. If a girl was invited to join the Hughes table and agreed, an aide would pull out a waiver and agreement for her to sign. Hughes had a barber on call 24/7, but had his hair and nails trimmed about once a year. Oh my. In his hotel-bound years, Hughes was rumored to have instructed assistants to place a single cheeseburger in a specific tree outside his penthouse room at 4 p.m. each day, whether he was there or not. Such a world of possibilities. Just as the Model T brought transportation to the masses, a virtual assistant brings eccentric billionaire behavior within reach of each man, woman, and child. Now that's progress. Without further ado, let me pass the mic. Note, the YM22 performs both personal and business tasks. Whereas Brickwork focuses solely on business projects, let's start with the important but dull stuff and move quickly from the sublime to the ridiculousness to give a true taste of what to expect. I have not corrected non-native sounding English. Vinky, don't limit yourself. Just ask if something is possible. We've arranged parties, organized caterers, researched summer courses, cleaned up accounting books, created 3D drafts based on blueprints. Just ask us. We could find the closest kid-friendly restaurant to your house for your son's birthday. Finding out cost and organizing the birthday party. This frees up your time to work or hang out with your son. What can we not do? We can't do anything that would require our physical presence, but you would be surprised at how small a set of tasks that is in this day and age. Here are the most common tasks we handle. You know what? I'm on a few, real brief. I'm on a few places for like meetups, and they're like, what state are you in? Because they want to meet up. And me being I have to be creative and out the box. With me being on so many naughty sites and social media sites and merchandising so many products for these meet me pronto right away sites, I'm like, baby, I'm anywhere you want to be. I am sold everywhere. You have to learn how to be creative out the box when it comes to marketing for the genre that you are trying to attract to. So I'm like, this is where I'm at physically. Physically, I'm in Indianapolis. But I'm on the internet. I present you this link. You can find me on these sites. Since I'm not available physically in your area, you can get all your goodies and snacks here. Sold out everywhere. So when it comes to marketing, be open, receptive, and even if they do or don't, if they're feeling some kind of way, thank them anyway. Kindness may get you far. All right? Okay, let's see here. Here are the most common tasks we handle. Scheduling interviews and meetings, web research, following up on appointments, errands and tasks, online purchases, creation of legal documents, website maintenance, web design, publishing, uploading files. That doesn't require a professional designer. Monitoring, editing, and publishing comments for online discussions, posting job vacancies on the web, document creation, proofreading and editing documents for spelling and formatting, online research for updating blogs, updating the database for customer relationship management software, managing recruitment processes, updating invoices and receiving payments, voicemail transcription. All of them sound delicious. Um, Ratika at Brickwood added the following: market research, financial research, business plans, industry analysis, market assessment reports, preparing presentations, reports and newsletters, legal research, analytics, website development, search engine optimization, maintaining and updating databases, credit scoring, managing procurement processes. Watching my time, I still had to work on my hair. Binky. We have a forgetful client who has us call him all the time with various reminders. One of our 4 clients on a custom platform has us wake him every morning. We've done the legal work and found people who fell out of the contract after Katrina. Found jobs for clients. My favorite so far, one of our clients has a pair of trousers that he really likes that aren't in production anymore. He's sending them to Bangalore from London to have created exact replicas at a tiny fraction of the price. He really loves them trousers, honey. That's called hook right there. Here are a few other YM22 custom requests. Reminding an overzealous client to pay his current parking fines as well as not speed and collect parking fines. Ooh, okay. Breathe. Apologizing and sending flowers and cards to spouses of clients. Yeah, that sounds nice. Charting a diet plan, reminding clients on it regularly, ordering groceries based on the specific diet plan. That sounds nice too. Getting a job for a person who lost his job due to outsourcing a year back. He did the job research, did the cover letters, did the resume tuning, and got the client a job in 30 days. Fixing a broken window pane of a house in Geneva, Switzerland. Lord. Think international money, y'all. Not just UA, international. International. Collecting homework information from teachers' voicemail and emailing it to a client or parents of the kid. Research on how to tie a shoelace meant for a kid, client's son. Find a parking slot for your car in some other city even before you make the trip. Now that's love right there. Ordered garbage pins for home, get an authenticated weather forecast and weather report for a particular time in a particular place on a particular day 5 years ago. This was to be used as supportive evidence for a lawsuit. Oh, Lord. Let's not talk about lawsuits. We got too many people on the internet, especially AA folks, going through things right now. Talking to parents in our client's steed. Here's another real example of personal outsourcing from reader David Cross, who got a personal chef at home for less than $5 per meal. I used to order when I was back at the house running the Airbnb. I loved ordering the high protein, low carb vegetable meals. Those work wonders. I would have them delivered about 3 to 4 times per week, especially when I was doing about 60 hours a week between 2 to 3 jobs and trying to get my going to places on the weekend for singing. So those come in handy, they work, and they're reasonably priced, which is wonderful. So if you haven't tried it, give it a try. Let's see. They're more than $5, I think, per meal now. Just thinking of the possibilities is enough to make you start drooling, he explains. I wanted to find someone to prepare food I loved. I trained as a chef, but I am often so busy and I am the only one in the house who really cooks. I often don't have time to prepare the food that makes me feel the healthiest, so I wrote the attached ad and dropped it on Craigslist. You don't have to do all that. That's a lot. Now, I did have to cook the food. Most of the food I cooked took less than 15 to 20 minutes. And I had not just a regular oven. I had a grandmother like those. I forget what kind of oven it's called. Toaster oven. Honey, I put that toaster oven to work. I had two toaster ovens. Yeah, I ended up giving one toaster oven away. So if you got a toaster oven, put it in there. Or I think a toaster is better than the microwave. For a long time, I didn't have a microwave. So yeah, just set your alarm and put it in the toaster, and it's healthier for you, and it doesn't kill everything. Let's see. This was a very tight focus, ultraspective. I had two applicants in 2 months, one who was 210 match, but the guy we just okayed was a Hare Krishna follower for many years. Lived in India, and his sample menu proved he knew what he is doing, so we just started him. The food is absolutely awesome. The hourly rate is extremely reasonable. He's a 5 minute detour when either of us are in town to collect food, and I now have delicious Indian food for less than $5 a meal, and it's as good as anything I've ever eaten anywhere. Baby, that Indian food. Oh my God, that is some of the best food. I like a lot of different varieties of food. Hello, hey, Rom, darling. I love you too, sugar. Thank you for tuning in. I had an Indian couple stay with me. His wife was pregnant. He came over. They were about an hour away. They looked on Airbnb. Um, they were looking for some place to stay till she had the baby because uh, they were here and they were having some complications. So they stayed for about, I want to say 4 months. I think in their first baby shower, they cooked fresh food from India. They were from India. They cooked fresh food every day. While here, they applied for Medicaid, emergency care to have the baby. Um, yeah. So she was there up until her pregnancy. The baby shower happened after their pregnancy. They stayed for a few weeks after she had the baby, so the baby had um, dual citizenship. So for those looking for interracial relationships in different countries, as long as you have the baby here in America to make sure it has dual citizenship, I recommend that. And we had a good old time. But yeah, they cooked fresh, and they made sure before they left, uh, they were very thrilled with their stay there. They asked me what I wanted to eat before they left, and I am a huge fan of Indian food. So and I would take them to the grocery store, and everything was only 5 minutes from down the house. And I gave them my request, and they cooked it up for me before they left the house. And I loved curry chicken. I was just getting into Indian food, but I loved curry chicken at the time. So they did an awesome job, and it was a beautiful experience, very memorable. And they still send me pictures of the little boy, and I still have pictures of when I would hold the little boy in my hand. Such an angel. Yes, be open to new experiences. Okay. All right. I'm going to progress to other cuisines now. Thai, Italian, Chinese, and it means when I do have time to cook, I'll enjoy doing it that much more as I am not the only one cooking. I love all those. Oh, he gives the ad. Oh, that's beautiful. Hello. We are looking. We are a local international family who love Indian and Asian vegetarian food. They were vegetarians. We are looking for a cook experience in this wonderful cuisine to prepare delicious, fresh, healthy, authentic Indian, Asian, vegetarian meals for us. If you've cooked a curry once or twice and need to follow recipes, this position is probably not for you. But if you know Indian vegetarian cooking in depth and can prepare delicious, healthy, fresh, authentic Indian vegetarian food, then we'd like to hear from you. This could be an ideal opportunity if you are Indian, Pakistani, Punjabi, etc. I ain't never heard of Punjabi before. I'm going to have to look that up. And are looking for a great way to apply your experience and love of Indian vegetarian food, cooking, and culture. Knowledge of Ayurveda, I'm going to spell that, Ayurbed, and how this relates to food and diet is a plus, though not essential. Please reply with details of your experience and some dishes you could prepare. If we like what you offer, we'll arrange for you to cook a sample meal or two, which we will pay you for, and then we'll see what works out for us all. Oh, that's beautiful. This is a part-time position. You will be self-employed and responsible for your own taxes, etc. We'll pay you an hourly rate. We will agree with you plus grocery bills for the food you prepare. You can prepare food in your own place, and we can arrange to collect it from you, possibly for us to freeze for later eating. We will work with you to come up with menus and schedules that work out for you and us. Thank you for your interest. Thank you, Rom, darling. Appreciate you, sugar. Thank you very much. All right. We're going to get started on basic choices. New Delhi or New York? Oh my. There are 10 of thousands of VAs. How on earth do you find the right one? The resources at the end of this chapter will show you where to look, but it is overwhelming and confusing unless you have a few criteria determined in advance. It often helps to begin with the question, where on earth? You know, that's funny because I try not to be on Earth too frequently. I'm trying to be on the moon with the stars and the other planets. So let's get started to where on Earth. My gosh. Remote or local? Made in the USA doesn't have the ring it used to, baby. Oh, you were saying something right there. The pros of jumping time zones and visiting third world currency are twofold. People work while you sleep, and the per hour expense is less. Time savings and cost savings. Ritika explains the former with an example. Thank you, Ritika, girl. I assume Ritika's a girl. One can give the remote personal assistant in India their assignment when they are leaving work at the end of the day in New York City. And they will have the presentation ready the next morning while you sleep or run errands or whatever it is you're doing. Because of the time difference with India, assistants can work on it while they are asleep and have it back in their morning. When they wake, they will find the completed summary in their inbox. These assistants can also help them keep pace with what they want to read, for example. You know what? When I had my second book, Supreme Reign Love Redefined by J.L. King, when I had it published under him, before my first book interview with him, I had met a little African boy from Nigeria, young guy. And he worked on, he was an assistant, and he also did music. He was a producer. So he sent me beats, and my Facebook at that time was around 2000. And he told me what he could offer. And I felt safe with him. Not all of them, but I felt safe with him. And I hired him as my personal assistant for like $50 a week at that time. The money, I was working at a high prestigious insurance company. The money was faithful, and with me putting in so many hours and doing everything, I was like, I can't do this and that too. I had just released my single, The Wake and You Make Me Wanna Sing. The track that he helped me with, that he created that I utilized was For the Wake. And it was a piece, it was my first duet piece with my dad, Irvin Walker. And it was just when COVID hit. And I got to sing it a few times at a few functions. And that was a pleasant experience. I had always dreamed of doing music with family. So that was beautiful for me. Not everybody gets to say they have had a duet with their father talking about COVID and things that have happened in the African community. So I was very privileged that he provided that beat to me, and it's a beautiful song. Now it didn't get reviews. It didn't get a lot of. Uh, it got me other opportunities in regards to acting and poetry and singing. It did that. But as far as the clicks and likes and monetary views and things, particularly of that video, AA community likes drama. That wasn't enough drama for them. That was peacemaking, which is okay. People like what they like. You love them anyway, and you work with them. And so when I had my first book review, just to bring it back, he was coordinating everything out of Nigeria, Africa, while I was getting everybody together here in the United States to meet at the same time, at the same location, at a place that I had picked out for me to have the book interview with New York Times bestseller J.L. King. I could not have made it without him. I am glad I hired him. By the time I was done coordinating with him for my inbox and raising the stakes and get everything out and marketing, it took us about 3 months to bring up my profile from about 2K to almost 5K. We worked diligently in that inbox together. I ain't gonna say it was easy. We went through some things. I had to do some fighting. Facebook don't like it when you do stuff like that. But honey, we was on it. It was worth every penny I paid. Period. Let's get back to it. Okay. All right. Assistants can work on it while they are asleep and have it back in the morning. When they wake, they will find the completed summary in their inbox. These assistants can also help them keep pace with what they want to read. For example, Indian and Chinese VAs, as well as most from other developing countries, will run 4 to 15 per hour. The lower end being limited to simple tasks, and the higher end, including the equivalent of Harvard or Stanford MBA and PhDs, need a business plan to raise funding. Brickwork can provide it between $2,500 to $5,000 instead of $15,000 to $2,000. Foreign assistance isn't just for the small time. I know from firsthand discussions that executives from Big Five accounting and management consulting firms routinely charge clients 6 figures for research reports that are then farmed to India for low 4 figures. In the US or Canada, the per hour range is often $25 to $100. Seems like an obvious choice, right? Bangalore 100%, it's not. The important metric is cost per completed task, not cost per hour. Buenas noches, Senora Antonio Mentor Cruz Viga. See here. The biggest challenge with overseas help will be the language barrier, which often quadruples back and forth discussion and the ultimate cost. The first time I hired an Indian VA, I made the fundamental mistake of not setting an hour cap for three simple tasks. I checked in later that week and found he had spent 23 hours chasing his tail. He had scheduled one tentative interview for the following week, set at the wrong time. Ooh. Mind-boggling. 23 hours. It ended up costing me at $10 per hour. Ooh, $230. That same task assigned later that week to a native English speaker in Canada were completed in 2 hours at $25 per hour, $50 for more than 4 times the results. That said, I later requested another Indian VA from the same firm who was able to duplicate the native speaker results. That was a hard lesson. How do you know which to choose? That's the beautiful part. You don't. It's a matter of testing a few assistants to both sharpen your communication skills and determine who is worth hiring and who is worth firing. Being a results-based boss isn't as simple as it looks. Now, baby, you got to do a lot of navigation, period. There are a number of lessons to be learned here. First, per hour cost is not the ultimate determinant of cost. Look at per task cost. If you need to spend time restating the task and otherwise managing the VA, determine the time required of you and add this, using your per hour rate with earlier chapters to the end sticker price of the task. It can be surprising. As cool as it is to say that you are having people work for you in the 3 countries, it is uncool to spend time babysitting people who are supposed to make your life easier. I don't babysit. I don't have time for that. I got enough time watching myself. So I'm very careful about who I pick. Second, the proof is in the pudding. Oh, I just said that on my Facebook page. It is impossible to predict how well you will work with a given VA without a trial. Luckily, there are things you can do to improve your odds, and one of them is using a VA firm instead of a solo operator. He was a solo operator. By the time he left, by the time we divided after I picked him, he came back, he asked me for a letter of recommendation. Baby, not 5-star. I gave him a 10-star. I could not have survived without him. And I'm glad I met him. And if I need anything in the future, I will utilize him, and I recommend him in the future going forward for anybody else who needs services. Period. Have I turned down people from Nigeria, Africa? You damn straight I have. It was something different about him that clicked. We met in Wet Dreams, by the way. Wet Dreams on Facebook, which is a naughty group. And we spent a lot of time talking back and forth and going through some things before I actually gave him that assignment. And I don't do that for everybody. And there's a lot of people I turned down. But when my spirit said, this is the one, I said, okay, spirit, intuition, I'm going to listen. I paid attention to everything. I didn't see any red flags, and I hired him. All right. And he was a solo entrepreneur, and I would still utilize him in the future. Solo versus support team. Let's suppose you find the perfect VA. He or she is performing all of your non-critical tasks, and you decided to take a much-deserved vacation to Thailand. It's nice to know someone besides you will be managing the wheel and putting out fires for a change. Finally, some relief. 2 hours before your flight from Bangkok to Phuket, You receive an email. Your VA is out of commission and will be in the hospital for the next week. Not good. Vacation. FUBAR. I wonder what FUBAR means. I don't know, but it's not good. I don't like being dependent on one person, and I don't recommend it in the least. In the world of high technology, this type of dependency would be referred to as single point of failure. I'm learning some lessons. One fragile item upon which all else depends in the world of IT. The term redundancy is used as a selling point for systems that continue to function if there is a malfunction or mechanical failure in any given part in the context of VAs. Redundant entails having fallback support. I recommend that you hire a firm or VAs with backup teams instead of a sole entrepreneur. Well, that is good to know going forward. Instead of using just single contractors. Okay. Examples abound, of course, with people who have a single assistant for decades without incident. But I suggest that this is an exception rather than the rule. Better safe than sorry. Besides, simpler disaster avoidance, a group structure provides a pool of talent that allows you to assign multiple tasks without bothering to find a new person with the qualifications. Brickwork and YM22 both exemplify this type of structure and provide a single point of contact. A personal account manager who then farms out your tasks to the most capable people in the group and across different shifts. Need design, graphic design. Hello, you need the graphic design. I'm here. I got an appointment at 10 a.m. My third client. Yes, across the hall from JD Angels, actually, and they must have looked at that mural on their wall and was like, who is she and how can we get a hold of her? I think that is the most beautiful thing. I am so excited. Anyway, let's see. Covered. Need graphic design covered. Need database management covered. I don't like calling and coordinating multiple people. I want one-stop shopping and am willing to pay 10% more to have it. Woo! Lord, let me get in that spot. I encourage with the funds. I encourage you to be similarly pound-wise and penny foolish. Team preference doesn't mean that bigger is better, just that multiple people are better than one person. The best VA I have used to date is an Indian with 5 backup assistants under him. There can be more, 3 can be more than sufficient, but 2 is towing the line. I'm going to pause here. We are still in chapter 8. This is the longest chapter I have ever been in my life, but it is very informative. And all of it is needed. I think this is beautiful. Let's see here. I did not know chapter 8 was this long. Okay. That's all right, because we're going to still, hunty child, get through it together. It's almost time for the library to wrap up. I do have to, let me get back to my spot. We've been to that one. We're going to cover the number 1 fear. Sweetheart, did you buy a Porsche in China? Oh, Lord have mercy. Never had a Porsche. But if I had one, it would be named Cayenne. Okay. Since I have an appointment at 10 in the morning, I'm going to work on my hair real quick with y'all for who all's tuning in before I leave for the day. And hopefully it doesn't take me that long. That way I don't have to do anything when I get home. If you like it, leave a message. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you've been doing. I would love to work with you and see what kind of assignments you have fulfilled so far, where you're at as far in the middle of the year, because we are in our 5th month. almost 6, and we've gone past a lot of full moons, quarter moons, whatever kind of moons. And how are you coming with finding time to fulfill your life's destiny? I was trying to see if I could word it any other. Period, point blank. And not only that, how are you holding up mental wise? And you do have to take a step back and dig in and do some cool down work, is what I call it, before delivering your full self to the world and pursuing your pursuits. Let me know how you are intertwining that into your schedule as well. Are you where you want to be at? If not, maybe we can work together. It's just a thought. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, love tubers. And I'm gonna find something to do with this here real quick, and then I'm gonna be out of this library, and I'll be back. I will be back, not with a 4-hour work week, unless time allow and I can squeeze it in somewhere. But with some other things in between my new client and events for the weekend. And I want to get these books done because I've already got somebody who's reviewing 2, and I need to send them 3 more. So I want to wrap those up for the weekend. I sent them Accentuating Curves Assassination Hips, Truth or Dare, 2024 Total Eclipse, Watch the Celestial Dance. I want to send 7 African Powers for beginning practitioners. The block is hot. I owe them 1 more. What's the 1 more? Oh, one I have to actually do from scratch. Codependent, Silence No More. In regards to relationships, I didn't make an actual word draft of that. I created everything from that in Canva. So I would have to actually type that up and put that out there. But that's the only one. The rest of them are in Word document. I put in Word document already. And then I'll get back to doing what I was doing. But since she pulled me to the side and asked, I said, let me get these PDFs to her real quick. And then I've got 3 more not PDFs, Kindle Create KDP. Let me get these created and out to her. And I want to finish them before the weekend. So I'll be concentrating this weekend on that and talking to people at the Ugly Girls Club as soon as grants are completed. That part. All right. Thank you. And have an awesome rest of your weekend. And what I am working on in between time, I'll post love.